She was abandoned by her mother. He lost the love of his life because of a lie, but faith brought them together. And what happened next will break you. Olachi wanted him to choose between love and a child that wasn't his. He chose the child. She called him a fool. The world mocked him. But years later, that same child returned, and what she carried in her hand changed everything. The rain poured heavily on the streets of Enugu. It wasn't the kind of light drizzle that people danced in. It was the kind that made people run for cover, hold umbrellas tightly, and pray not to get sick. But one little girl had no umbrella, no one to run to, and nowhere to hide. She stood barefoot by the roadside, water dripping from her frizzy hair, her tiny dress soaked through, clinging to her cold skin. People walked past her without a second glance. They were all in a hurry, focused on their own problems. Her name was Adaeze, but no one in the city knew that. She had been sitting near the market bridge for 3 days, waiting for her mother to return, waiting for food, waiting for hope. At the same moment, Obinna Arinze, a 32-year-old billionaire fashion mogul, sat in the back seat of his black SUV. His driver was taking him to his company's charity event, but traffic had slowed them down. Through the tinted glass, Obinna saw her, a tiny figure, shivering, with eyes filled with silent tears, and something he hadn't seen in years. A bracelet, beads, orange and white, just like the one his sister Ujunwa used to wear. Obinna's heart skipped. "Stop the car." His driver Ikenna hesitated. "Sir?" I said, "Stop the car." He opened the door and stepped into the rain. As he approached the little girl, his designer's shoes splashed into the muddy water. He didn't care. "Nne, what's your name?" The girl looked up. Her lips trembled. "Adaeze, where is your mother?" She pointed weakly towards the market. She said she will come back. It's been long. Obinna's heart cracked. Something deep within him stirred memories, pain, the night that changed everything. When Obinna was 16, life was different. He lived with his parents and his little sister, Ujunwa, in Nsukka. Their village owned a small fabric shop in the market. Ujunwa was just 5. She was smart, cheerful, and loved dancing in the rain. She only wore a bead bracelet their mother gave her. One fateful afternoon, while Obinna ran a quick errand, a fire broke out in the market. It spread fast, destroying shops, stalls, and homes. Obinna ran back, screaming his sister's name. He never found her, only a bracelet lying near the ashes. Their parents died months later from grief. Obinna was left with nothing but sorrow and guilt. He vowed to rise above the pain, to become someone great, but inside, he never stopped searching for peace. So when he saw Adaeze in the rain, wearing the same beads, something inside him whispered, "You were meant to find her." Obinna carried Adaeze into the car. She didn't resist. She clung to him tightly, resting her head on his shoulder. "Drive home," he said, and called the doctor, Onyema. "Tell him to meet us at the house." Obinna's mansion sat atop the hills of Independence Layout, a fortress of luxury and elegance, marble floors, chalandiers, security guards. But Adaeze had never seen anything like that. When she stepped inside, she froze. "Is this heaven?" she asked. Obinna chuckled softly. No, Nne, but it will be your home now. She gave her warm food, new clothes, and a bed with fluffy pillows. She slept deeply that night, her arms wrapped around Teddy Bear, but peace didn't last long. Olachi Nwokocha, Obinna's fiancé, returned from Dubai the next morning, tall, elegant, and born into power. Olachi was the daughter of Senator Nwokocha. She loved Obinna for his wealth, status, and his name, not for his heart. When she saw the girl in the guest room, her face tightened. Who is that? Her name is Adaeze. I found her on the road. She's staying with us now. Obinna, are you out of your mind? This is our home. You brought a street child here. She's just a child. She needs help. You run a charity. Donate through that, but don't bring orphans into our bedroom. Obinna said nothing. He turned and walked away. And with each step, he knew something Olachi was not his future. Over the weeks, Adaeze grew stronger. She laughed again. She learned how to read. She followed Obinna everywhere, calling him Uncle Obi. One evening, while combing her hair, Obinna noticed a scar on her shoulder. Where did you get this? Auntie said it was from the fire. My real daddy tried to save me. He gave me to Mama, then went back inside, but he never came back. Obinna's breath caught. Fire? She nodded. We lived near a market. Mama said we used to know someone called the Jonwa. Obinna dropped the comb. Was Adaeze his niece? He ordered a DNA test. The result came 2 weeks later. Adaeze shared same blood with Ujunwa. She was the child of Ujunwa's best friend, Ozamaka, who had raised her in secret after surviving the fire. Uzamaka had died of illness months ago, leaving Adaeze on the streets. When Olachi learned about the DNA results and Obinna's decision to adopt Adaeze, she lost all patience. You are throwing away our future for a girl from the gutter? She is not from the gutter. She is my blood. She is family, and I'm your fiancé. Obinna stood up. No, Olachi, not anymore. He returned the engagement ring. Within days, Table carried the news. Senator's daughter dumped by a fashion king over orphan girl. But Obinna didn't care about the gossip. For the first time in years, he felt peace. Obinna began the legal adoption process, but it wasn't easy. The authorities asked tough questions. They wanted proof, social workers' visits, background checks. Then came Chief Nnamna, a distant uncle of Uzamaka, who suddenly appeared, claiming rights to Adaeze. He said he could raise her in the village and accused Obinna of trying to use the girl for public sympathy. Obinna refused to give up. He hired the best lawyer, Ngozi Bekwe, a woman known for fighting child custody. In court, Ngozi presented the DNA, the timeline of events, and testimonies from doctors and caregivers. The judge looked at Adaeze, sitting quietly beside Obinna, holding his hands tightly. Do you want to live with him? The judge asked. Adaeze nodded. He is my daddy now. Tears rolled down Obinna's face. The judge ruled in their favor. Obinna became his legal father. Obinna left the fashion empire behind and stepped down as CEO of Obilux. He built a new foundation called Adaeze's Hope, which provided shelter, food, and education for abandoned children across Nigeria. They moved to Nsukka to a peaceful house with trees, flowers, and a little pond. Adaeze started school. She made friends, she told stories, and she smiled again. Every evening, they cooked together. She called him Papa now. And each night before bed, she would whisper, "Thank you for finding me." He replied, "Thank you for healing me." A year passed. Obinna visited the old market in Osaka. The place had changed, but memories lived in every corner. He placed a bucket of flour at the exact spot they found Ujunwa's briefless. Adeze stood beside him, holding his hands. Is this where you lost her? Yes, but maybe this is also where I found you. They stood in silence as the breeze carried the scents of roasted corn and hope. On Adeze's 60th birthday, Obinna invited children from orphanages all over Enugu. There was music, games, and a cake taller than her. As she cut the cake, she said into the microphone, "My name is Adeze Arinze. I used to be lost, but now I am found." The crowd clapped. Obinna hugged her. That night, she received a letter. It was from her late mother, Ozabaka. It had been discovered by a church group during a renovation. In the letter, Ozamaka wrote, "If anything happens to me, please forgive me. I have done my best. I hope one day Adeze will meet someone who can love her like I did." Obinna folded the letter gently. She did, and I always will. Sometimes, love doesn't come from wearing makeups or gowns. Sometimes, love is barefoot, crying in the rain, waiting to be found. And when it's found, it doesn't need approval. It just needs two hearts willing to heal. Obinna didn't just rescue a girl, she rescued himself too. These are some beautiful moral lessons we are going to learn from this story. True love is selfless. Arinze's love for Adeze wasn't about what he could gain from her, but what he could give. Even after losing everything, he never stopped fighting for her well-being. Money cannot buy love. Olachi had money, fame, and influence, but she couldn't buy Arinze's heart. Genuine love comes from sacrifice and not status. Family isn't always blood. Though Adeze had a biological link to Arinze, he treated her like a daughter. True family are those who stand by you when the world turns its back. The truth will always come to light, no matter how long it takes. Lies and evil schemes will always, just like Olachi's manipulation and blackmail, eventually come crashing. Never underestimate the power of what? Hope. Remember, greed destroys. Olachi's greed for fame, control, and possession blinded her to the harm she was causing. In the end, her hunger for power destroyed her relationship. Healing takes time. Forgiveness will always set you free. Stand for what is right, even alone. When the system seemed unfair, Arinze stood tall to protect Adeze, even when no one believed in him. Love leaves a legacy. Remember, love leaves a legacy. I hope you enjoyed every bit of this story. If you think love is just a feeling, wait till you see what Arinze did. Kindly like, subscribe, share this story so that other people can learn from the story. I love you all. Bye. Tell us what you would do if you were in Obinna's shoes.